Today we're talking about inverse expertise or reverse mentorship. And I think this is an extremely important mindset, mentality, and part of our philosophy that we need to have ingrained within us as we're leading other people. Because I think, ultimately when it comes down to it, the older that we get, the more that we begin to realize that the people who are working for us, if you will, those who are in our charge, man, they're as smart as anything. And they're probably smarter than we were in a lot of different ways, in different areas. And sometimes we take it for granted. We think that because we are the leader, it is our job to fix everything, right? But if we face a challenge, odds are that there's somebody in our formation who has that key skill, that knowledge or that attribute that, if applied right, not only will fix your issue, but will also, right? This is crazy. Also create a better cohesion within the team and better ownership, because it's them that are the people who are making the change, not us, right? When somebody comes up with an idea and says, hey, I have this idea and I know how to do it and I'm willing to do it. When they do that, that's instant ownership. Does that make sense? And then you just enable them with the resources that they need and the time that they need to get after this thing, regardless of what it is. It could be an administrative task. It could be a tactical or operational task or shortfall that needs to be addressed. It could be designing a logo for a team shirt, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. We have to quit as leaders assuming that we are the center of gravity, that if you take us out, everything will fall apart. Right? If that's the type of team that we have, that if I plug Stoker out, if my company falls apart, well, then I have failed. I'm not saying that it's going to be the same company whenever I leave, but they should be able to keep rolling along, right? We have a song about that. Right? I mean, this is what we have to do. This is what we have to live, because when we don't do that, we're actually pulling the reins back on our organization. We're holding them back from finding and fulfilling their true potential, right? So when we do this, when we have this in our mindset and in our mentality, right, that says, I want you to be an active participant in the organization. And if it's honest, if it's real, because we follow through with this, it's been going on. This is a lifestyle, right? This is a leadership style that we have, that we bring to the table. Then odds are, then those who are in our charge will see and realize that we're authentic in who we are. And when there's that sense of humanity going between leader to subordinate, as well as from subordinate to leader, when you understand humanity, man, if things don't change for the difference. It's crazy. But I know I've had leaders in the past who I couldn't sense their humanity. They seemed locked in this small left and right lateral limit from PT to final formation. And I didn't know anything about them, or that anything was there to know about them. And the same from them to me. Now, did the job get accomplished? And the answer is yes. The job got accomplished. But was it the most effective? Were these situations where we sat around on our ass all day until 16:30, and then all of a sudden we're busy until 1900? When we literally had all day. The job got accomplished, but was it as effective? That's probably never happened to anybody else, right? Certainly you've never sat around all day, and then at the end of the day you had something to do. So why don't we do this? I was sitting down with an old student of mine the other day who is phenomenal. He's bright. He's well thought out, and we're sharing some thoughts back and forth. And you know, I think ultimately one of the things we were talking about is the grind gets to us, right? Every junior soldier says that and every junior NCO says, hey, when I become an NCO, I'm not going to do this. Hey, well, when I become a squad leader, I'm not going to do that. Or when I become a platoon sergeant, I'm never going to do that. When I become a first sergeant, I'm never going to be like them. When I become a CSM, you see where I'm getting at? But every step along the ladder in our current leadership chain, they all said that when I get to be to this position and I have that authority and responsibility, I'm going to do things differently. They all said it before us. Like, you're not the first, you've probably said it, and you're not the first person to say it. So what happens is we let life rob us we succumb to the pressures of saying yes. We stifle ourselves in fear from doing things differently. Well, team, odds are, if I have an NCO who says, hey, Top, I'm gonna do this thing, and it's what the Army tells me to do, and I know that you had this other thing that you want me to do, but the Army says I have to do this. You know what I'm going to tell that NCO? Hey, go do what the Army tells you to do. And then get after what I'm telling you to do. Depending on on the situation and the context at hand, right? But I'm never going to tell somebody not to PMCS their truck to standard. I'm never going to tell somebody to not conduct an inspection to standard. Contrary, I'm going to get after my dudes when they don't do these things. Quit not doing things the right way. Right? Because when we have folks who do things the right way, it helps bridge things up. It helps share the expertise and that reverse mentorship up. Because odds are your leaders aren't, they believe, because most people, right, we're talking about humanity here, and I don't care what circle of life we're talking about, or what location or what time, people are dadgum people. And we all have this ego and this pride that we deal with, and we think that ultimately this God complex, that I have the right answer. Well, if I don't have the information, and if I don't have the challenge, if I don't have the provocation to change my mindset, it's never going to change. So in the case of doing things like PMCS, and you're afraid to deadline a vehicle because somebody's going to get mad that you have a truck that's deadline and you need to get like, it's no big deal. Like, get some parts ordered against it, get it on your ESR, and bada boom, bada bing, life goes on. Right? I don't care if it's an in-ranks inspection. I don't care if it's a how you run your ACP or your TTP for your patrol or a medical procedure, whatever it is. Like, say and do the right thing. And when you do that at a junior level, it breeds up. Team, we have to do a better job. We have to do a better job of listening and being present. Your subordinates, knuckleheaded kids as they are, can dynamically change your organization for the better. But you have to allow them, you have to trust them. Tell them what you want. Nobody wants to fail, right? I mean, nobody wants to not win. We have this in us. We want to succeed. We want to win. Share a common story and a theme and a location, a destination, a goal. And once your folks are bought in on it, they'll get you there. And if they're not bought in on it, they still may get you there, but it's going to be kicking and dragging. So is it really worth it? The increased stress that you're going to even put on your own life. And yes, you may have to tell some folks, no, you need 5 more minutes or whatever the case is, but do things the right way. Because ultimately, you're never wrong for doing right. Does that make sense? Man, you are never wrong for doing right. Team, I appreciate all you guys, man. Leave some comments down below so we can keep this conversation rolling. Hope that you all are doing well, man. Consider sharing this out with a battle buddy friend. Don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We'll see you on the flip side, man. And until then, you keep grinding and you stay stoked.